Hey, what's up, everybody? It's commute time again. I just wanted to spend a couple of minutes today on my drive mentioning a few different events that are going on this year. One of those is out of Chicago, and there will be a link to the Out of Chicago conference in the show description below. I'm not sure how many spaces are left in the Out of Chicago conference, but it's worth it to go look and see if there are any available spots left for any of the events that are going on there. That's this June. I believe the dates start around like the 25th or 26th of June, runs for several days. It's in Chicago. It's a huge photography conference. A lot of like really big name photographers are presenting there, giving workshops, leading photo walks. They're going to have some really cool discussion panels. I'm fortunate enough to be able to be presenting there, doing a class on how I process and approach landscape photos to get dramatic shots in less than ideal conditions. It's about an hour-long class. It sold out right after going online, and I think that they were trying to find a bigger venue so we could open it up again for a few more people. So I'm pretty excited about that. Going to be sitting on a panel to discuss mirrorless camera technology with Mike Baining and some other people as well. I think Frederick Van Johnson might be on that panel. It's cool. It's really exciting stuff. But if you're in the Chicago area or can make it to Chicago for that conference, I can't recommend it highly enough. It is it's a phenomenal weekend of photography and education. And what I've been telling people that are asking about it, asking what it's like hanging out with a bunch of friends. It's not like and I've never been to an event run by somebody like Joe McNally or someone like that, so I can't really say for sure what their events are like. But I always get the impression that like Joe or somebody would be up on a stage just presenting, and you're kind of out in an audience, watching and learning and taking notes, and I'm sure there's some interaction between the presenter and the audience. But Out of Chicago is different in my mind because it is set up in such a way that while you do have these class times, you do also have plenty of time where everybody's just kind of in between classes, going from one event to another, going from a photo op to another. So you don't have any sort of separation between you and the presenters, the lecturers, teachers, photo walk leaders, things like that. It's kind of like you spend a weekend hanging out with these other photographers. It's really cool. The pricing is really, really good. I don't know off the top of my head what it is right now because they're periodically running like special discounts and stuff. So you'd again want to check the link below for more information on that. So that's Out of Chicago, and like I said, I'll be there. Mike Baining will be there, to represent Olympus. And Olympus will have a table there along with other vendors. So if you're wanting to maybe get a shot with a Pen F, it's another reason to be at the Out of Chicago conference, because they do loaner equipment there. You just basically sign up to get some gear and take it out on one of your photo walks or whatever. It's pretty cool. And then in the fall, the same group of people, this is Chris Smith, the founder of Out of Chicago, has decided to expand it because it's been such a successful event the last several years. He's growing it now. So this year he's doing his first ever Out of New York. Not sure of the complete lineup of people that'll be at Out of New York. As far as Olympus representation, I really don't know. But there will be some Olympus representation there for all of my Olympus viewers who watch the vlog. And again, there will be a link to the Out of New York conference below, because I don't have firm dates for that memorized, just because I'm not really a part of Out of New York. But this is the maiden voyage of Out of New York, first time doing that event. So it'll probably be a lot of fun to get involved with that. So I think, yeah, and I think that's in October, but like I said, I don't have firm dates. So those are like the two events that I kind of wanted to talk about today. You know, if you sign up for the Mirrorless Adventures meetup group, Mike and I do different events, you know, throughout the year. Most of them are in Michigan, admittedly, so far. We do have one event in Philly, and I think we've probably got like 2 spots left open on that. So I'll put a link below in the description down there, specifically to the Mirrorless Adventures meetup group, on which you can find the Philly workshop if you're in that area, or if you're a Michigan viewer, you can see our schedule of events that are going to be happening here. We've got a photo walk coming up at Kensington Metro Park, more of like a nature walk. It's a really cool place to have a walk. We just wrapped up one in Ann Arbor and one in Detroit. We're still in the preliminary planning stages for a weekend event that's going to be on the west side of the state. It's going to cover some city shooting in Grand Rapids, so it'll be like urban and street photography and some live composite, long exposure stuff around the city at night, and then some countryside, rural shooting, landscape photography, old barns, things like that, covered bridges on our landscape portion of it. So it'll be like a workshop that Mike and I did last year that we called Small Town to Downtown, basically city/rural shooting over the course of 2 days. So that'll be a lot of fun. Like I said, we don't have the itinerary completely knocked out yet, but we're working on that. And those are just a couple of the things that are coming up this year. So stay tuned for those. Just sign up for the Mirrorless Adventures meetup group. There's a lot of M's in there. And then you'll be notified of the events that are coming up, maybe in your area as well. You know, depending on how well the Philly workshop goes and whether or not we can get enough sign-ups to make it affordable for us to do these. You know, we want to take them outside of, you know, the one location outside of Michigan. You know, we'd like to do a workshop, I think, in Atlanta maybe, and maybe one in San Francisco as well. So that's about it. You know, the last couple of vlog posts pretty short. If I see something that catches my eye on the drive home today, I'll definitely stop and shoot. Of course, got a bag with a camera right next to me, and that's it. So until the next time the camera turns on, you guys take care. See ya. Hey, what's up, you guys? I've got a few minutes left this evening to spare, so decided to go out for a walk with my family. They headed back home. I detoured to go back through this granary that's in my neighborhood just because it's full of all kinds of crazy stuff to photograph. Shooting with the Pen F, and I don't know if it shows up with the field of view in this camera or not, but the Voigtlander 42.5 millimeter, and in my pocket I've got the Imzuiko 17 millimeter f1.8 for a little bit wider shots. But right now, mostly just kind of taking advantage of the shallow depth of field I can get shooting this lens wide open. And of course, I'm shooting with the color and mono profiles just because they're so fun. And using those in conjunction with a lens like this offers a lot of creative possibilities. So I'm going to turn the camera back around and start exploring and start shooting. I'll probably just keep it running the whole time. And I'll probably narrate as well what I'm shooting so that you get an idea of what I'm pointing the camera at. Right now it is, I like these rusty bolts against the green paint job on this grain bin here. So I'm changing to color profile number 3. It's very rich. It's making the reds and brown hues in this rust really stand out and be contrasty against that green color on the grain bin. I think today the shooting is going to be mostly about texture, especially with all these funky colors and paint. So what you might not be able to see very easily is there was a fly. And while the Voigtlander is definitely not a macro lens, I was using the crazy shallow depth of field to kind of isolate him against the crackling paint. 42.5 millimeters, not what I would probably want to shoot what I'm looking at right now with this. But basically, just looking at this, I don't even know what it is. It's basically a support structure for this crosswalk up here, and it's like a grain transport. But I just kind of in my head see a silhouetted shot. The sun is back on the other side, starting to get a little low in the sky. But part of the shooting with a prime is you zoom with your feet. 42.5 millimeters means I would have had to have zoomed back or walked backwards quite a ways. And the shot wasn't that captivating enough for me to not be lazy and walk that far away. So one of the things that I find interesting out here, and it's kind of an eyesore, but it's fun to shoot, is this field out here, or this property. The person who owns this has just filled it full of crap, basically. But you've got this old tank tread looking type tractor bulldozer deal over here, and then over here is an old John Deere tractor. Kind of cool. And up ahead there's a stack of bicycles sitting in the weeds, and I'm gonna shoot those. And this bicycle seat down here. Again, I think I mentioned it in another vlog post where I was talking about urbexing. Just these little things that you come across. You know, they've got their own stories, and that's what I'm looking for. These little discarded bits of people's lives that have some sort of a story to them. I feel like Bob Ross, you know, trying to like make up a little story about everything that I see. But as silly as it sounds, it is kind of something that I do. I just imagine this whole little world unfolding around all these things that I'm shooting. There's a creepy, that's a big hole, man. I don't know if it's kind of big for a groundhog. I half wonder if there might be a fox in there. We do see fox in town here, as incredible as that seems. Back over to color profile. I just like this fungus growing on that little stump. A lot of these are just things that I'll shoot. They probably won't get shared, but some of the things that I'm shooting right now definitely will be. And I like the way that the light is just kind of making its way through that orange reflector on that bicycle wheel. There we go. I love this time of day. The light is beautiful. Even when I'm looking at garbage, it's still beautiful. And I'm just kind of approaching the stack of bikes from different angles just to see how it looks. It's all about perspective, right? But yeah, you can see the warm light over here. I love shooting all of these with obviously wider lenses than what I've got on right now. Next I'm going to take a walk across the street there's this big warehouse over here that I'm not even sure if it's used anymore, but it's always fun to just walk along that building and you never know what you're gonna find. So let me shut the camera off for a minute, make my way over there. All right, so I forgot to turn the camera back on. I was just too busy looking at different things to shoot. Nothing terribly exciting, just little things here and there, but I don't know, I guess they're exciting to me maybe. Just random stuff. That's what I love about shooting, is that anything becomes a subject. Like this. So again, probably not the most photogenic subject, but still caught my attention. Motorcycle season. All right, I think I've exhausted most of my options out here, although something did catch my eye over here that I want to investigate a little bit. That's this rotted out tree. I can just see where woodpeckers have been digging into it, and I was hoping to see that there was some fresh action on the tree, but there hasn't been. I'm always just kind of scouting for potential future wildlife opportunities. Kind of odd. Pink soccer ball. Hey, the battery's finally starting to flash red on this camera. Man, I've had the battery in it forever. Alright, so I won't bore you with a walk back to my house. Let me just leave you with this. Everything is a subject. It just depends on whether or not you want to make it one. Think about it. See you guys tomorrow.